So today, Reverend Don Young and I introduced the only bipartisan legislation in Congress that reschedules marijuana, thereby ending the federal prohibition. That's great, right?
Yes.
So, we claim that we're free and liberty in the United States, and then we're the world's biggest penal colony, and it's the new Jim Crow. We're locking up black and brown people for marijuana and drugs, right? And so
there was a guy named Harry who joined Don Young and I at that press conference right in front of the Capitol there, who shared his story. He was going to college in Virginia, African-American man, studying computer science, looking forward to his future when he was arrested for marijuana possession. And he was sentenced to 2 back-to-back mandatory minimums of 5 years. So a total of a 10-year prison sentence because of marijuana.
Wow.
And he shared not only about the lives, he said, look, I did what I did. This is the time that I had to serve because of it. His cellmate, he said, was a guy who was convicted of murder for shooting somebody in the chest. He got out of prison before Harry did.
Yeah.
Harry is just one of far too many people whose lives have been completely changed and ruined and devastated, that not only deals with the time that he served, but how his record is now going to follow him. So not only do we need to end the federal prohibition on marijuana, but we need to expunge these criminal records for people who have been arrested so that they can be freed from this situation.
All right. Before we get to, that's great. Before we get to your, what am I forgetting? Is there a controversy I'm forgetting to bring up? Oh, Modi.
You know what's interesting? This is a new controversy that I wasn't aware was controversial. I've been getting questions randomly at different places I've gone, town halls, of whether or not I support pineapple on pizza.
Oh.
This is apparently a big deal. I was with Nico House and his friends at Pasta and Fee a few minutes ago, and that was their last question. I didn't know that was a thing.
You know what? I secretly support it.
Secretly.
But I'm not allowed to eat pineapple because of I have a bone condition anyway. But so I can't eat pineapple. But
okay.
I did have,
well, that's different.
The best pineapple I ever had in my life was in Maui. It was on that volcano. Oh,
they're
my
so sweet.
God.
They're so sweet.
Yeah, I think it's that volcanic soil that makes everything taste so good.
Yeah, it's unique.
Yeah, I never slept better, and I haven't slept since. I was in Hawaii in 1996.
Wow.
I slept 8 hours straight. I've never done that before.
Wow.
Since. It was
I think
amazing.
you need to go back.
I should move there. So let me ask you about people also, your connections with Modi and India, and people have been very critical of that. Now, I looked into Barack Obama and him professed their friendship for each other publicly all the time, and
same with Hillary Clinton.
So now,
same with many other leaders in Congress.
So did that come up? But you are somehow uniquely compromised, right? How come?
Because I'm Hindu and they are not. These attacks are coming from a religious, bigoted place, and they need to be called out for what they are. They don't acknowledge the facts that you have said, that U.S. leaders for a long time have seen India as a partner in many different ways, and how it serves our interests to be able to continue to strengthen that partnership between our two countries. Obviously, we've got differences in some areas, but there's more to be gained by having that strong partnership than not. As a result, through my position on the Foreign Affairs Committee, as a co-chair as well of the U.S.-India Caucus, where I served for 2 years with Congressman George Holding from North Carolina. We met with both Prime Minister Modi, leaders from his party, the BJP party, as well as meetings with the opposition party, leaders from the Congress party. Just as we have here, their leadership changes hands, our leadership changes hands, but even throughout these changes in politics, the relationship between the world's oldest democracy and the world's largest democracy continues because of that. So any attacks or accusations, when you really get right down to it, they are based in religious bigotry, and they should be condemned as such.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for clearing that up. Let's get to your... It is unacceptable that it takes a lawsuit against Monsanto, maker of Roundup, to determine whether exposure to glyphosate Glyphosate can cause cancer. We must protect the ability of independent scientists to research and publish findings free of corporate influence. Now, Tulsi, I don't know what you think you're doing, but Monsanto's a very powerful corporation. And if you're going to take on the military-industrial complex and Monsanto, you should go see a psychiatrist because it's not going to go. How's those? So this is people don't like Monsanto, just like people don't like the wars, except they rule over us, right? Because we live in an oligarchy. Oh, now I remember what I wanted to ask you. So
let's finish up on this one first.
Let's finish this. Okay, I have such a scatterbrain that okay. So let's finish.
This is
great.
important. This is important. This is something that in our campaign for president focused on, but it's something that we're hearing from people. They're bringing this up in these town hall meetings because of their concerns about the fact that this glyphosate Roundup is being found in foods and things that we consume almost every day in our lives. And we're seeing now, I think there have been at least 2 lawsuits that have been ruled in favor of the people filing them, talking about how the cancers that they've gotten and the illnesses that they've gotten are being attributed to the carcinogenic elements of glyphosate, of Roundup. So, in Congress, we need to ban herbicides like glyphosate that are poisoning our people.
Boy, that's
when you look at the Farm Bill, for example, the Farm Bill that unfortunately favors these multinational agribusiness corporations, that's one of the major things that we need to change. So that legislation like the Farm Bill, that's a very big piece of legislation that's passed, that's supposed to help our farmers so that they can grow food that can feed our people, has turned into a big corporate giveaway. But this speaks to the heart of the problems that we face all across the board here. This corruption of spirit where you have self-serving politicians, greedy corporations, special interests who are more interested in serving themselves than the people. And that's why I'm running for president, to bring these values and principles of service above self that are at the heart of every service member, that are so needed in Washington and so needed in the White House. Bring these principles of integrity and honor and respect back to the presidency, and that focus on our job and our mission is to serve the American people. That's the vision that the founders had for us, and that's what we need to change.
Okay, good luck. I mean, Monsanto, come on. Those people, they're ruthless. I would rather go up against the mafia than go up against Monsanto, honest to God. No doubt about it. They won't even let you grow your own.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
We can't underestimate the power of the people, though. We can't underestimate the power of the people. That is the way that we will make this change.
The power of the people, our government has already been stolen from us, right? So we live in an oligarchy. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's been studied at Princeton, and they've revealed that. And so there's been a big push to try to get our government back with people like you, right? You don't take corporate money.
That's right.
And people like Bernie.
No PAC money, no lobbyist money.
Right. So that's if everyone did what you did, we wouldn't have probably any of the problems we have. We'd have different problems we'd be fixing, and we'd have a much better society.
Actually fixing them, perhaps.
Yeah, we'd actually be able to fix our problems, which is what we can't do now. We just keep spending money on more bombs. The Justice Democrats, first of all, the DCCC said that they are going to put a financial hex on any progressive political people who help someone primary a Democrat. So if you have a corporate Democrat and you want to primary them because they're basically a Republican, and the DCCC says that if you help them do that, you are persona non grata, which is kind of a death sentence. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, I didn't hear about that until somebody brought it up when I was out on the road in New Hampshire a few days ago. It's a very undemocratic thing to do, in my opinion. Wrong move. So,
and you still think that? Do you think that it's possible? Obviously you do. You think it's possible that progressives can take over the party from the corporatists, and we can get it back to the people instead of the donors?
I do, because even in 2018, even in the 2018 elections, we are seeing a moving trend as more and more voters are learning and understanding how corrosive and corruptive this big special interest money in politics is, and are setting those expectations, saying, if you want my vote, then you will not take PAC money and you will not take lobbyist money. So we saw more people, Democrats who are running for Congress in 2018 than ever before, who made that commitment. I've heard from some of them that they're getting pressured by, I don't know exactly who, but perhaps some of the leadership in Washington to say, yeah, I know you made that promise, but we really need you to get reelected, and you can't do that unless you start taking this money. So, the folks that I've talked to and I've heard from, they are doubling down on their commitment, and they're working really, really hard because they know they'll get challenged in the next election, but they're working really hard to make sure that they keep that commitment. So we need more and more of that call to action coming from voters across the country, not just to Democrats, but Republicans as well.
I think it's unfortunate that people like you and Bernie and Ro Khanna and Ocasio-Cortez are working inside a counter-revolutionary party and are not really making a dent right now. Although Ocasio-Cortez is certainly getting a lot of publicity, Nancy Pelosi is running the House, and she's running it like a conservative. And now, in fact, the Justice Democrats, I just found out, have agreed that they're not going to primary any Democrats unless they're in a safe seat. And do you know who determines what's a safe seat? I mean, that's, of course, I guess Tom Perez gets to decide unilaterally what's a safe seat, and
that's interesting.
but you think that you think the takeover of the Democratic Party is in sight, and that we could actually have the Democratic Party.
I'm not naive to the challenge that lies before us.
That's good.
I'm not sitting here with rose-colored glasses and out of touch with the power that the establishment and the status quo have with their money. What I'm talking about is what gives me hope is that more and more people in this country are calling it out, seeing that this legal corruption for what it is, and saying, hey, look, we the people are the ones who get to choose who goes to Washington. And these are the expectations that we have. Almost everywhere I go, people are bringing up this role of special interest, big money in politics, and the need for it to change.
Well, a lot of people who don't consider, you, much like Bernie, attract from a broad spectrum of voters. And that also scares them.
It's true.
Right? And so
imagine that, building a coalition of Americans.
And now the important thing is, and I've been telling people that even if you don't think you're going to vote for Tulsi Gabbard, it's important to have your voice on the debate stage.
Yes.
And they have set some standards for you to get on the debate stage. One of them is 65,000
individual contributions in order for any presidential candidate to get on the debate stage. So we just crossed the 50,000 threshold. We are getting close, but we need help. So I would ask shamelessly to your viewers, like you said, whether you have already made up your mind that you want to join our movement, or you're still on the fence, or if you have friends who don't know yet, by contributing $1, $5, $10, whatever you can, you will make the difference in bringing our voice to the debate stage, in raising these important issues that impact all of us, because otherwise you're just going to end up with the same old, same old.
Well, listen.
So you can do that by going to Tulsi2020.com.
And make sure she gets on the debate stage because, well, listen, it's been a motherload of good times today.
As always, Jimmy Dore.
I always enjoyed interviewing an anti-war peace candidate. It's always great to see that happening. And, it's going to land. Your message lands with people, and that's why you really scare them. It's really amazing to see you go up against the power, right? And so if anything, I just want to amplify your message of anti-war and peace and telling the truth and not to fund the people we're supposed to be fighting. And so everybody try to get Tulsi on the debate stage. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you. It's great to see you. Thanks for what you're doing to help lift the curtain and raise people's awareness. This campaign and this movement is not about me. There are so many people like yourself who recognize the need for this change and are issuing this call to action. Now is the time that we, the people, must stand up so that we can and we will make this positive change that we need for our country and the world.
Okay, and thanks for your stance on Venezuela also. It was fantastic. It was clean. It was clear. You didn't repeat the CIA talking points before you said don't go in. You just said don't go. It was great. Tulsi Gabbard, ladies and gentlemen. Next live Jimmy Dore show is June 5th. That's a Wednesday at Hermosa Beach Comedy Club in Hermosa Beach, California. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all tickets. We might be coming to your town. And if you love the show, please become a patron. Please support the show. We give you hours of bonus material every week. And please click that bell and make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are already subscribed, they unsubscribe people every day. Just check. Thanks for your support.